But do you feel like now Manchester United have got this player, he's going to make a big difference, or do you still actually feel, look, they're lacking a key number 9 up front?
Yeah, well, after 6 weeks of negotiations, I'm sure it wasn't all plain sailing behind the scenes, and that's often the case in these situations. But Manchester United got there in the end. He was one of their absolute top targets, and understandably so. His record for Brentford last season, in particular, goal scoring, assists, his influence, his character that we hear really good things about as well. But throughout his time, since joining them in 2019, and everything he's done there has indicated that he's ready and deserving of a chance at an even higher level. 25 years old, he'll be 26 when the new season starts. He's a Cameroon international, and he was being coveted by the likes of Newcastle, Tottenham, Arsenal as well. And so Manchester United were determined to strengthen in the sort of wide attacking positions. They brought Cunha in. They looked at a number of other players as well, and Mbeumo was very much among them. And they've managed to land both him and Cunha ahead of their pre-season tour, departing for the USA tomorrow. So I think they'll be absolutely delighted with that. And you never know how these things will work out. There's no guarantees. But from what I can see and know about Bryan Mbeumo, he looks a bit of a glove fit for Manchester United, and that's why their fans and the club are so thrilled. Even though it's a high fee, it could even be seen to be decent value further down the line.
Yeah, and he only turns 26 next month, so best years very much potentially ahead of him. Turning to the Sun, Charlie, your paper, yes, they have Bryan Mbeumo as their focus, but on the side of the back page, really interesting story there. £80 million for Devils to nick him, focusing on Nicholas Jackson. Could Jackson be on his way to Old Trafford, Charlie?
Well, as you just said, it cost a few quid, that's for sure. Because I don't think Chelsea don't really need to sell, even though all they seem to be doing is signing players and mainly forward players. But it'd be a good signing for United. I mean, they've done great bits of business already in Mbeumo, finished product, which has not always been the case. Some of the recruitment, and Nicholas Jackson is, again, there's more to come from him, but he's a good player. And I think he'll go on to be a really, really good player. Yeah, excuse me, a terrific signing for United. But I still think it might be a difficult one for them to get over the line.
What do you think about this, David? Does the actual fee of around 80 million, even 100 million being talked about for Nicholas Jackson, suggest that wider challenge in the broader market to bring in a top-class striker with figures of maybe 150 million pound being quoted, say for Alexander Isak, for example? Does actually 80 to 100 million pound for Nicholas Jackson at the age of 24 feel all right to you?
Well, there's a paucity of those players. The demand far outstrips the supply of them, and that's why the prices are high. It makes a deal for somebody like Victor Gyökeres at what's being proposed as sort of 73.5 million euros, including add-ons, to look a bit of a bargain. Nicholas Jackson's clearly a very fine player. He's already adapted to the Premier League, and you don't know how these deals will end up. Some of the reports suggest there could be a conversation about Alejandro Garnacho going in the opposite direction. He's a player, of course, we know Chelsea have looked at. So I don't see Manchester United paying the sort of reported £80 million asking price. That would need to come down clearly for him to become a consideration. Manchester United. I mean, they are considering the likes of him and Ollie Watkins and Sesko and various others. Pretty much all of the top clubs would be, but we're not aware of any sort of concrete movements on that. No club-to-club talks at this point. And yeah, the finances for all of those types of players would need to become more realistic for Manchester United to move for them. That's not saying they won't move for them later in the window, because a striker is high on their agenda. I just think a lot of work will need to be done for Jackson or any of those others to be a really realistic prospect at this moment in time.
Charlie, we've got 30 seconds or so to talk about Marcus Rashford and focus on an article on the Sky Sports News website. Obviously, he's on his way to Barcelona for this loan move. Could this be a good move for Barcelona and Rashford?
I really hope so. Yeah, it's a tremendous opportunity for Rashford. And in many respects, he's lucky to get it. But if it doesn't work out, he cannot say he's not had a chance, because it's a brilliant opportunity. He did well at Aston Villa, not absolutely brilliant, but let's hope he can really push on and get back in the England team.
Charlie, David, been great.
He'll score more goals, I think, than Cunha. Cunha's link-up play is very good, coming short for the ball and bringing other people into play. But I think definitely, and I think that tells a story when somebody from Brentford is Manchester United's best signing to date. I think that kind of tells you a story of the kind of quality that they have signed, that they have signed so far.
Frank, is this the best signing that they've made?
Oh, yes, for me, definitely. With Cunha, I have to say that the signing of Cunha surprised me.
We can't hear Frank. It starts the show. Mark?
Oh, I can hear him.
Can you hear him?
Yes.
I can't hear him.
Well, I told you, go home. Frank, go ahead. I can hear you. He's obviously got an issue.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I can hear him now.
Okay. So I think... Oh, okay, good. Yeah.
Where's the producer? He's got his head in his hands, isn't he?
Wrong.
He's in the gallery.
Since the beginning of the...
Shut up, Frank, talk.
Since the beginning of the show, you are out of order, but whatever. So the signing is the best signing for me, and I think it's a very good signing for Manchester United. Now, I'm not sure it's a very good signing for Mbeumo.
All right. All right.
Okay.
Right.
All right then. So Frank is out. Mark, you take it. I'm trying again. You take a look at these signings that Ineos have made over the years. This has got to be up there as the best, isn't it?
I think so. I think I'm with Craig on Mazraoui. I think is a very underrated signing, about £15 million. He was a very good signing for what he did last season. But yeah, beyond that, the big signings haven't really come off. And I think there's been a change in focus this summer. And I think it's the right one. They decided to go for Premier League proven players because they've had too many gambles, not just Ineos, but even prior to that with the Glazers. You know, the Hoylands and the Xerxes, that they're basically taking gambles on players that are playing for mid-ranking clubs in Italy, and the step up is too big. But at least with Cunha and Mbeumo, they know that they are Premier League proven. They've scored goals in the Premier League for clubs that, you know, should find it harder than Man United, because Brentford and Wolves are not elite Premier League clubs, and United are, but they've not been playing like one in recent years. So they are definitely very good signs, and I think that obviously they cost money and they paid a lot more for Mbeumo than they wanted to. But I do think that you have to spend what you get these days, and Mbeumo will make them better. And I think, is he the best signing they've made? I can't say that yet because he hasn't played the game. But Yoro's got potential. Mazraoui's been good. But you know, if Cunha and Mbeumo live up to their quality and their potential, they will both be the best two signings United have made under Ineos.
Don't tell me they're still going to be looking at Nicholas Jackson, Augie. Please.
Look, well, they do need a centre forward. And Benjamin Sesko is another guy that they're looking at over at Leipzig, but I don't think that is the priority now. I think what they're going to do now is they're going to focus on midfield. I mean, Amorim made it clear at the weekend that he needs a midfielder, so they have to look at getting a midfielder in. Adam Wharton is a player they like, but again, it's going to cost a lot of money. Whether they've got that right now, they haven't. They've got to get players out. So, you know, Rashford going is a good thing, but they've still got to get Garnacho out. They've got to get Anthony out. They might have to get Kobbie Mainoo out, because I watched the game at the weekend and I don't see how he fits the system. He can't run, he's not mobile enough, he's a great talent, but he's just not a player that fits that system. So they have got players they can move on, but they need to bring some money in there, because they need midfield. They probably need somebody on, you know, maybe another right back, because I'm not convinced by Dallo, unlike you, Craig, I don't think. But I think they need more, and I think until they get other players in, that centre forward issue is not going to be addressed. And you know, Højlund played second half against Leeds at the weekend. Nothing's changed with Rasmus Højlund. He's not good enough. He can't hold the ball up. He can't do anything really. So they're going to have to address the centre forward issue. But right now they've got bigger priorities, and they haven't got the money to do all the deals they want until they get players out.
You take a look at the possible starting 11 that Oggie's given us. There's still a lot of improvements to be made, isn't there, Craig?
Just don't get the middle of the park, and Mark touched on it. It's, you know, Gati's been totally ineffective, and Bruno Fernandes, you're basically putting him in the central midfield position, which he has no real defensive qualities. If we're being honest, he really should be where Amad Diallo is. Now, Amad Diallo is a different type of player. He's more pacey, he's more direct, as is Mbeumo. But that's where Bruno Fernandes does his most dangerous work. And, you know, behind the striker. Now, he's probably back there because the dearth of other players to play there. You know, Agati can't really pass it, has been poor. Casemiro, it's the end of his career. He's just seeing his contract out, getting paid. I mean, he was better last year as the season went on, but he wasn't great. He can't really do it in the Premier League week in, week out anymore, not like he used to. He was one of the best in the business, and that ship has sailed. And then you go from the midfield to the centre-half positions, and again, you can sit here and just pinpoint so many weaknesses. So, yeah, attacking-wise, apart from the striking role, it looks a little better, a little sharper. But the middle of the park, and who's the three centre-halves going to be? Who's going to marshal the defence? You know, I think there's so many positions still need to be addressed. But when you spend this kind of money, then you definitely want to see improvements.
Yeah.
Now, that's saying something, because surely the only way is up from the results that Amorim got last year. If we're taking the Premier League on its own, they were horrendous. So the only way should be up. But then when you spend money on some decent players like they have, particularly in the forward areas, you can't afford to get the kind of results that he got for long periods last year. Just getting beat by just about everybody and finishing in the league where they finished. So there's going to be some pressure on him. But again, the issues are going to be not just the goal-scoring position, but, you know, workmanlike in the middle of the park, strong in the middle of the park, and who's the back line going to be with the wing-backs?